The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting of May 25th, 2026. We will bring it to order. First, presentations. We're welcome today. Welcome to the chamber, Minister Lori Carr. I think this is the first visit for this term, so good to see you out there today. I think there was a little bit of announcement today, and I guess let us know what you're up to.
Yeah, for sure. It's great to be here, and very happy to see some of the new council members around the table. The tech conference was taking place today, and we had a great announcement of $150,000 that will be spread over the next 3 years to help out with really what they do with engagement and outreach of those local companies that are looking how to set up a business or how to get going or what does innovation look like. They really are just a wealth of information over there. So just helping out a little bit to ensure that that work continues to happen. But I mean, really, I'm just here today to touch base with City Council. Always interested in hearing what you're hearing or what your questions are. Obviously, I know some of them from the SUMA conference. Had an opportunity to see you guys there, and congratulations on bringing your resolutions forward. But yeah, just really, we just passed the provincial budget. A lot of it, a lot of areas were kind of held pretty steady, but healthcare, which is a portfolio that I'm involved with at this point in time, we did get an increase there because we saw the importance of protecting the services that we have. We didn't think that this is the right time to be reducing any of those services. In fact, we want to see them enhanced if possible. So happy to see that will continue in this year's budget, and just obviously working on that recruitment side of things that we feel here in our city to ensure that we get the professionals we need to provide those services to individuals.
Excellent, good stuff. I guess we'll just go around the room with questions for Minister Carr. We'll just kind of do the inquiries. Councillor Verova.
Thank you, Minister Carr, for coming today. My first question, I have a couple, is about the empty housing units. So yes, we did do the resolution at SUMA, but again, with talking with other communities in the province, we had found out that there was approximately 600 empty units. And so in Estevan alone, we have over 50. Just recently, I heard of a couple that went down to housing to talk about getting a unit, but there was no units for 2 people. But we hear that there's units for families or 3 people. So, you know, just kind of curious if there's any progress of how we get those units filled.
Sure. So how the Housing Authority works and how the housing units work is they're really designed for seniors, whether you're a single or a couple. So yeah, if you're a couple and you're a senior, you're good to go. But the housing units are designed for single individuals and single individuals with children, females primarily, but if you're a dad that has children, then they're available to you as well. Not necessarily a couple looking for low-income housing at this point in time. But the private market obviously does have supply for individuals that are looking for that type of housing. The units that do sit vacant, I think someone had sent me some information last week that you guys were curious about that. The Estevan Housing Authority this year actually does have an allocation of about $2.5 million. And so that will go towards the operations in general of those housing units, but it goes towards maintenance and repairs as well to bring units up to stock. And right across the entire province, we have a total of 16,965 units, and of those, there are 257 that actually require major repairs, and a couple of those are here in the city of Estevan that require those major repairs. But 878 of those are in the process of individuals who have moved out, so there's just that time where you have to clean them up and get them ready for the next set of tenants that will be moving in. So there are vacant spaces across the province, including here in Estevan. And our individual housing authorities, who are volunteer boards with a director, really do their best to ensure that they're trying to make sure those units are up and running for individuals.
Yes, thank you. And so then one of our biggest things is some of those units are in neighborhoods, and they have fears that their neighborhoods are going to start to see different things happening, you know, as well as I do, that different things happen with crime, et cetera, in the neighborhood when units are set vacant. So if they're not able to be repaired, you know, we had discussed maybe there's other options. Maybe there's somebody that would private that would take them and then get them back into the housing market, if there's some way we could do that too. But again, hopefully your government will be able to find a way that we can get all of those units rented. Another thing, thank you to the Minister of Justice who helped fund our community safety wellness plan back in 2023, 2024. We were one of 4 communities that did that pilot project, and we are one of the only ones still that have an actual community wellness committee that I co-chair with Heidi Hesslink, and then also that we still have the community wellness plan that we're still following. One of our 4 core areas in that plan is education, and at our last meeting it was brought up to us that youth as young as 11 and 12 are now in Estevan not attending school. And so we're trying to decide like what are the best ways that as a community that we could do some of those things to maybe just, you know, like we say, it takes a village, be a village, report things, document things, find different ways to try and help. But as a province, is there a way that we can look at that? Because I know if Estevan's having that issue is bigger in other cities. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is the first I've heard of this. I didn't realize that there was and what I guess you feel is a large group of individuals that are not attending school at that age. So, I mean, obviously, parents and personal responsibility comes into play when we're talking about that. But depending on the individuals, like I guess, why aren't they going to school? Is it peer pressure? Is it bullying? What does that look like? We have the SAS-DLC, the Distance Learning Center, where those individual students would have the opportunity to actually take their classes from their home if they're not comfortable actually attending in school. But realistically, all of those kind of school decisions or kids that aren't attending, that's kind of a school board responsibility to figure out what to do with those kids and how they can reach out to them to get them the help that they need, get them into that classroom if that's necessary.
And so, yeah, that's actually kind of what we talked about at the Community Wellness Committee level, is that there's kind of everybody's different responsibility, right? Like when we talk about the families, we talk about everybody, but people being lost are the children because they're the ones out on the street. So when I talk about a large amount of children, there might only be 5 or 6.
Okay.
But, you know, but again, that it's being identified that has never been identified in Estevan before.
Yeah.
So when you have 5 or 6, then that turns into a bigger number. And part of the problems is when I hear you say that they can stay home and take school, that's the response that is given, right? Oh, I stay home and do that at school, or kind of thing. We've kind of lost where children, we know where they're supposed to be. So I just wanted to bring that up because we have a lot of great things with the Community Wellness Committee. We have the monthly swim, or the week swim that we just had. We have monthly game night. We have the Community Connector that's going to deal with seniors. And so there's a lot of great things coming, but then there's some things that are really serious issues that are happening. And like I said, in Estevan, we have a good community which takes a village. I think we still all have that mindset, and we're going to keep on working hard. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention that is something coming down the pipe, is children who are not going to school. And I think that when I was young, we had the truancy officer. You would just call it in, and we talked about that at the meeting, that maybe there's a way that a truancy officer, a number you could call. But I just would hate to see if we start having children as young as 11 and 12 not going to school.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for all the work you do with the Wellness Committee. I've been watching, and there's a lot of really good stuff happening.
Thanks, we're trying.
Excellent, thanks for that. Councillor Elliott?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. If you don't mind, I'll maybe take you back to the housing. It sounded like, and you can maybe confirm or deny this, it sounded like Councillor Veroba was saying this couple had gone looking for housing, but they didn't have anything for just 2 people. They had something for 3 or more. Okay, so you've got empty units for 3 or more, but, I mean, is that something that maybe if you've got inventory that isn't being used and hasn't been used for some time, would it be worthwhile to look at moving those and getting into something for just a couple of people, or just even up to just 3? And I'll kind of add a qualifier there as well. You had mentioned they're mainly aimed at seniors, and I think that's a great thing. But I think that the trend at the lower end of the economic scale, like that group's getting bigger, not smaller, with all the different pressures that we've got on us from various levels of governments. So is there a way to maybe move away from the primarily seniors model and look at a broader group of people?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's a good one. And it's like a government has to balance the needs of individuals as well as what the private market has to offer while not becoming competition to them, right? So it's a very fine line. That's why the local housing authorities do have the guidelines in place that they have. But I do know that that Minister Jensen is open to conversations on, you know, what can work. One community could be different than another community, so maybe something does need to be adjusted within the guidelines that happen at this individual housing authority as compared to others. But up till now, it's been seniors housing, which includes couples, or housing for single individuals with children.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. Councillor Dubowski.
I didn't have any other questions that will probably be, or haven't already been answered really, so.
Okay. Councillor Johnson.
Yes, welcome to Estevan City Council, MLA Lori Carr. Long
Thank you,
time no
Councillor
see,
Johnson.
long time no been in the same chambers with you, but we did share that side of the aisle quite a bit there. We were back in the day, but it was a lot of fun. I have a few questions because I'm on the St. Joseph's Hospital board, and just a little bit with healthcare with doctors in the community and for recruitment of doctors and how we're doing there. I also see in the community that we have started up with the nurse practitioners, and I hear that there's probably going to be a offering in the province for 13 more seats or positions or training for that, which is key, which is good. And also, if you can help me out with the new nursing home, because I think there's been a lot of discussion, I'm going to say a couple months ago, and then it's kind of got quiet around the community because we're waiting on a lot of these, I'm going to say, companies to put in their tenders on how much it's going to cost. And where are we along in those lines? So,
Sure. Well, I guess I'll start with doctors. It's a little bit of an issue right across the entire province. There aren't many communities that have a full complement of doctors within their communities. So we have increased training seats at the University of Saskatchewan. We've increased residency seats throughout the entire province. Of course, the residency seats are important, hoping that whatever community they do their residency in, they get to like it there and they actually stay within the province of Saskatchewan instead of, you know, maybe moving out of Saskatchewan. So we continue with that work, and we still have the SIPA program, which is international doctors that come to Saskatchewan. Of course, those are 3-year terms, and as we all know, generally by the time they're done their 3-year term, they move on to something else, and it's normally a much larger community than the city of Estevan, and with more amenities than we have to offer for their cultures and different reasons that they leave. The nurse practitioners is a really exciting one. Of course, we have a great nurse practitioner clinic that has started up here in the city of Estevan. Jenna is doing an amazing job of building a fantastic team around her that is really dedicated to this community. But we did have another open round of applications for nurse practitioners who want to practice independently. So the ministry is just in the process of vetting those applications. And of course, from a minister standpoint, if you're a nurse practitioner and you want to practice individually, unless there's a really good reason you shouldn't be allowed to do that, odds are pretty good you're probably going to get a contract to be able to do that work. And of course, the type of practice that Jenna has set up, that group practice, where you have all of those supports around you, you have registered nurses, OTs, whatever that might look like, that will be most successful because you'll ensure that you're seeing the actual person that you need to see. And she even has a doctor coming in 1 week a month, which is really exciting. So we're going to continue down that nurse practitioner route and adding incentives in place to help people upskill if they decide to go down that route. And the new nursing home.
Yes.
The request for proposals that we sent out, we had sent it out in February, and there was a deadline. And the people that were working on their proposals said the 2 months wasn't quite enough, so they wanted an extension to be able to give us fulsome application forms. So the deadline for that is actually tomorrow. So I can't tell you today because I don't know. I don't know how many proposals we're going to get, what they're going to look like. But what that'll look like then after that is the proposals will come in, the ministry will look at them, they'll go through them, they'll score them, they'll vet them for whatever, and that'll be a 2 or 3 week process. And then at that point in time, we should be able to see who is qualified and who will be the proponent. And then there's a contract negotiation that takes place after that. But I'm really excited for tomorrow to close that off and be able to see what the next steps are. And then once the proponent is picked and that contract is signed, which probably would be sometime in the fall, they will be excited to get moving on that project as soon as they possibly can. So that's kind of where we're at there.
Thank you very much. I think you've answered quite a few of my questions. Thanks.
You're welcome.
And Discover Estevan will bug in about a month on all that?
I'll let them know as soon as I know.
Sounds good, Councillor Eliezer.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Minister Carr, for coming tonight. I had originally said no questions so we could get back to Rural Innovation Convention, but I did want to take the opportunity to talk about the importance of the Patient First Healthcare Plan and specifically how it's going to impact Southeast Saskatchewan. The goal of the plan is the right care at the right place at the right time. And in our community right now, that's not happening for women and children in Southeast Saskatchewan. So I want to share 3 quick delivery stories to highlight the burden that's placed on our community when we don't have these services available. Thursday night, I was working on the medical unit where I'm trained and confident to provide care, and we had an overhead page indicating that an ambulance was coming in, was supposed to be on the road from Stoughton to Regina, but they felt like the mom wasn't going to make it. EMS staff had already had a precipitous roadside delivery and thought, we can't do this again, and they diverted to Estevan. But Estevan's obstetrical services are closed, so this mom was required to deliver in the emergency room alongside the other busy ER patients that night. And then instead of getting to just move to a comfy bed and snuggle her new baby, she has to load back into the ambulance and go to Regina so that the baby can be assessed, the mom can be assessed, and they can receive that follow-up care that they need, because right now those services aren't available in Estevan. Then Friday, I get a call from my sister, who is anxiously awaiting the arrival of her second child, but she lives in Mooseman, Mooseman used to deliver babies. Right now, they're taking a break. They're not delivering babies in Mooseman, so she is commuting back and forth from Regina at least once a week for regular appointments, but then has been also driving back into the city each time she incorrectly, hopefully assumes that this is it. The contractions have started, I'm gonna have this baby, just to find out by the time she's got there, nope, baby's not coming yet. Back to Mooseman you go. And then Saturday, our friend woke up at 5:15 in the morning, hit the road with her first contraction on the way to Moose Jaw, because Moose Jaw is offloading some of the workload from Estevan for the Regina care teams. And she got there with 30 minutes to spare before delivering her baby. So her entire labor experience was on the highway, anxiously hoping that she was going to make it to an appropriate care facility before delivering that baby. And that's just in the last 3 days. So everybody in Southeast Saskatchewan is experiencing this anxiety and this financial burden and the necessity to commute for care in what should be a joyful celebration in your home community. And so the sooner we can resume services in Southeast Saskatchewan, the better, but also shoring up those services in Regina and Moose Jaw, because both labor and delivery units are at capacity, over capacity, trying to meet the needs of the southern half of the province. So I just wanted to make sure you know how urgent the need is in Southeast Saskatchewan for these services. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Absolutely, my goal, as yours is to ensure that we have all the services we need here in Estevan, and we have a great hospital. We have great staff that are more than capable to assist with anything that's needed. But what we need are physicians who actually want to be in this community and take up the task of delivering babies. So when it comes down to it, it really is finding the right individuals, because it's not just one. It's going to take more than one to come and actually have that team that's going to be able to do that work within the city of Estevan. And I know that the funding is there for it. We've funded positions for the Estevan Hospital here. We've even given them some flexibility because they had some kind of outside the box ideas on different types of practitioners that might be able to deliver babies, you know, not just the regular OBGYN, but getting a different suite of individuals that could come and do that. So we just said, whatever you think will work for Estevan, this is your funding bucket, and there's more than enough there. We just need to find the professionals to actually want to come here and do that work. And back in the day, every doctor delivered babies. It wasn't even a question. You went to your family doctor, you were gonna have a baby, your family doctor delivered your baby. That's just not the case these days. So the money's there, the recruiting is happening. We just need to find those individuals that actually want to plant roots here in Estevan and deliver those services. And I know we have a beautiful wing up there in the hospital that is set up specifically for this, and I can't wait for the day when it's full.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sure. Yeah, hopefully that can happen sooner than later, for sure. Everybody else is good. No more questions for Minister Carr. Well, thank you for joining us today. And thank the government for everything they do for Estevan and surrounding areas. Healthcare seems to be the theme of the evening, so we know what to look for and what to expect coming up. So
Absolutely. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.
thank you. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Councillor Johnson, Councillor Dubowski, questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. We have a motion to accept the minutes of the meeting held on May. Councillor Dubowski, Councillor Elliott, questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Original communications, delegations, and petition. Up first, Prairie Prime Junior Stock Club. Looking for a liquor permit on their big event that they have for June 27th. We have a motion to accept their request. Councillor Waleser, Councillor Johnson, questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. And another inquiry from Christopher Garish, a street sign request. Their great grandfather was the mayor of Estevan in the 20s, and we have Garish Place. So there's an old sign there, and they're actually requesting for that sign, which they will replace kindly. Councillor Verba.
Thank you, Worship. I know they had said that they were willing to wait until we were ready to replace a sign, but normally we don't really replace a sign unless it's been damaged or something's happening. So I was wondering if I could maybe make a motion that we reach out to the family if they're interested in purchasing a new sign for the street now. In our next time that we're ordering street signs, we just order one for them, replace it at that time, so that they can still have the original sign, versus in case something did happen to that sign where it became damaged and they were unable to have it.
Yep.
If they're willing to pay for it, I see no reason why we couldn't just give them the other sign.
Okay, I have a seconder to that motion. Councillor Dubowski, any more questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Vertus Group audited financial statement of 2025. Come on up to the mic. Give us a little rundown of what you found. And welcome.
Not so much what we found, what we didn't find, which is always the good situation to be in.
For sure, yeah.
So I'm presenting the financial statements. So I'll just speak to our independent auditor's report and touch on a couple of the highlights within the statements themselves. So we are issuing a clean or unmodified audit opinion. So we completed our audit earlier this year. We were in chambers for about 3.5 days. And we completed our audit in accordance with the Canadian Generally Accepted Auditing Standards. And we found that the statements presented fairly in all material aspects. There was no material misstatements, no material errors, or issues that were identified through the audit process. Our report does identify that management and council is responsible for the statements, and as part of that, assesses whether or not the city will continue as a going concern, which is a good thing to be, and has been concluded that yes, the city will be operating at this time next year. There was no issues identified that would say that it wouldn't be. As we do our audit, we do try to look for material misstatements. However, we can't guarantee that through different processes, the statements are completely free of misstatement. But completing our audit in accordance with generally accepted practices, nothing was identified. On the next page, we just go through our process at a very high level. So initially identifying the significant risk areas for the audit and for the city, obtaining an understanding of the internal controls, evaluating the appropriateness, concluding on management's assessment of the going concern basis and the general work that we do through our audits. So that's the substantive work that we do. And then going through and evaluating the overall presentation of the financial statements as well. And we've communicated with management any issues or any errors that were identified, which there was none. I'll just speak to the first two statements, the statement of financial position, which is essentially the city's balance sheet, and just a couple of the highlights there and significant changes. Looking at the financial assets, we did see a slight increase in the other accounts receivable. No concern that the city isn't collecting on amounts due to it. Largely that was due to government funding as well as the Canadian Community Building Fund, so another government program. So no concern that those won't be received in the year. On the liabilities, we did see an increase in accounts payable by about $1.8 million. Again, the reason there relates to the amounts that were due is with some of those projects and the timing of when invoices were paid. So no concern that the city is not meeting its financial obligations. And we also saw a decrease in the deferred revenue, which is detailed in Note 8. But really that's a lot of the economic development money. So those are funds that were received but not able to be utilized, and then throughout the year they were. So that's why we see the decreases there. Overall, looking at the net financial assets or debt for the city, we did see a fairly large decrease. Long-term debt also decreased by about $2.5 million, which is about the target that that management has annually, which is a significant factor in our consideration that the city would be a going concern. So overall, positive things there. On our statement of operations, which is more or less the income statement for the city, on the revenue side, the fees and charges did increase by about $1.2 million compared to last year, largely driven by various small miscellaneous grants, so a timing difference of when things were received. The gain or loss on the sale of land did have a pretty significant swing that was largely driven by one event last year where there was some commercial land that was sold to a charity for significantly below market value. And then looking at the expense side, protective services did see an increase primarily with wages. A lot of the other increases and changes in either revenues or expenses were relatively in line with just general rises of costs and other wages. And the last one I'll point to is the provincial and federal capital grants. We saw a significant decrease there. Really, that's a lot of the downtown money. So last year there was about $8.5 million specifically for that project. So unfortunately not funding that comes around every year. But overall, the city did see a surplus in the year, which is a positive, in addition to overall accumulated surplus and in general a good position for the city. I wasn't going to speak to any of the other statements or the notes, but if there are any questions, I'm happy to take those now as well.
We'll grab a motion to accept the financial audit. Councillor Leeser, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Questions, comments? Seeing none.
I don't have any on healthcare either, so please don't ask.
No line in there for no. Okay. Well, excellent.
Thank you.
Do we have all in favor? Carried. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you to the financial team. Thank you to the financial team we have for making that as easy as possible. What do we have up next? Executive reports. Richard, what do we got? Subdivision. Oh, what are we doing? Oh, sorry, the GFL report. Motion to accept. GFL, Councillor Johnson, Councillor Elliott. Questions, comments? Seeing none. All in favor? Perfect. Corporate Services subdivision report for 403 9th Ave. Richard, come on up here. What are we doing here to separate the building and small parking lot from the balance of the existing parcel? Anything to add there, Richard, or is that pretty much?
Yeah, this one here, the subdivision applicant was a survey company on behalf of Affinity Credit Unions. They have their big building, and then there's a laneway, and then they have the small building, which we're using with Tech Hub. And that's one big property. They're mostly parking lot, and they want to subdivide the building and an appropriate size parking lot from the remainder of that property. There should be a map there that you can see. And for the most part, like, it's fairly straightforward. There are some issues that need to be dealt with, and I've already been in contact with the landowner about it. One is there's 2 parking agreements on that property, and each one reserves 100% of parking exclusively for the benefit of Affinity Credit Unions. So if they sold the property in that manner, that person wouldn't have any parking left. Okay. So I've been in contact with them, and we're going to, and I've offered for the city to work with them to come up with a different, more appropriate parking structure. You'll notice as well from the map that the proposed lot line goes right through the center of the one approach off of 5th Street. That can be dealt with as well through an easement or a parking agreement. The final issue that came up was stormwater drainage, and I have a condition in there to deal with that. Otherwise, Mayor and Council, it's fairly straightforward.
Okay. We have a motion to accept the subdivision. Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Leeser. Questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Off to the Market Mall, or did we have 2 reports there? We just need one?
So it's the Market Mall feature plan.
Okay. So the Market Mall feature plan. Tell us about this one.
All right. Earlier this year, we received a development permit application for a drive-through restaurant on that property. I talked to the owner of the Estevan Market Mall and told them that under the planning legislation, if you're going to do a lease for more than a decade in duration, you have to have a feature plan adopted to authorize it. That is to prevent people from going into a 99-year lease, where the municipality then is basically faced with a de facto subdivision, right, and can't do anything about it. So that was the one thing. So a permit was approved as a permitted use at the staff level. Then the building permit was applied for, and the building permit's been approved and is ready for pickup, so they can go to construction soon. While this is going on, they had this condition to have this feature plan done. The feature plan consists of 2 parts. One is to accommodate the Tim Hortons, which was approved maybe prior to feature plans being required. I'm not sure exactly what year the Tim Hortons came into being there. And also parcel F there, which would be for the Market Mall. Through the whole thing, I received a phone call from one individual who had a bit of an issue with the Tim Hortons drive-through. And what it is if it's dark and you're sitting waiting for the food or what have you to be delivered through the window, your headlights are shining northwards right into the windows of the home on the opposite side of King Street. We looked at that, and there isn't really much that can be done on our end. You'd have to have a really high fence to block that off. Probably the best way over the long term to take care of that is with city parks to maybe plant evergreens rather than the deciduous trees that are there, to have a bit of a break, or maybe work with Tim Hortons to promote something like I do. If I'm in a drive-through in the dark, I normally just turn my lights down to the running lights while I'm in lineup, so I'm not shining my beams right into their vehicle as a courtesy. That might help. So a report was prepared, and then today as I was preparing for council, I found out that I had a second letter that came in. As you can tell, this is all dating back to March. It took a while to get on the agenda. And it was another email, and it was a very lengthy one, so that prompted me to send on very short notice a email into the city clerk's office, because there were a number of concerns here, and I wrote in my report that there's no other landowner contacts, which obviously from this is not the case. My apologies to council for that. There are a number of issues here which I addressed in my email to city clerk's office. Unfortunately, these are mostly development permit and building code type matters and doesn't really have anything to do with the lease. That said, if council wants to deliberate on this more and ask me any questions on it, I'm prepared to answer.
Okay. Any questions, comments out there? Sorry, Councillor.
I didn't actually read this email. Can I just have 1 minute to read this email that we just got sent?
Yeah. But right now, we're just looking for a consent letter to send it to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
It has nothing to do with the structure at all.
Okay. Yeah, as long as I have time to address it later, yeah, we're good.
Right, well, like, again, we're just looking for a consent letter to the
Yeah.
future plan right now, right?
Yeah, and I didn't want to put council in the position where this landowner might contact you tomorrow and say, hey, what did you think of my submission, and what submission, right? So it's embarrassing for me, but I needed to let you know. I'm sorry, I almost 36 years doing this kind of work, and I have never had this happen to me before.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm sorry. Because I was too busy trying to read this email. I wasn't actually listening, but I'll make the recommendation then that we proceed with just a letter for the formal plan.
Okay, seconder, Councillor Elliott, questions, comments, seeing none, all in favor? Okay,
Thank you.
we'll get all read up on that, thank you for that. Up next, Regina Airport Authority. What's going on there? Oh, sorry, missed a bunch of bylaws. Oh, all first readings. Police Board of Commissioners, this one here is just adding 4 consecutive terms instead of open-ended. We have a motion to accept. Councillor Leeser, seconded by Councillor Johnson. All in favor? Carried. We'll send that to first reading. Property tax first reading for, why doesn't it say anything? Oh, just for property tax, that's why. Send that to first reading to adjust the levy. We have a motion to accept that. Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Dubowski. All in favor? Carried. Up next, the library levy. Get that straightened out. After Sama, lovely Sama. We have a motion to accept library levy. Send it second reading. Councillor Johnson, second by Councillor Elliott. All in favor? Carried. Up next, healthcare levy. We have a motion to send that to second reading. Councillor Johnson, second by Councillor Dubowski. All in favor? Carried. Business Improvement District, first reading again, the motion to send it to second reading. Councillor Dubowski, second by Councillor Verova, all in favor? Perfect. Now we're at Regina Airport Authority. And I'll never catch up. What's happening at the Regina Airport Authority? Does anybody know anything about this? Councillor Verova? There we go.
I believe this was just more information, and then they were actually going to have a open house, but it was all blocked out there, so I'm,
Sort of below, like the Regina Airport, like you are.
yeah, but so basically, I was gonna ask this, because from reading this, you can't actually see what it is, right? But I believe it's an invitation to council to attend this event. So I'm not sure, again, right now, I think I would just say it's just information to say about Regina Airport, and then I believe Becca Ford, the Community Development Officer, will at a later date send out an invitation to council to see who can attend.
Okay, so something to watch for, June the 9th, Days Inn Fireside Room. Looks like a lunch, 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Regina Airport Authority will be coming to our fine city to give us an update on what they're up to. So up next, we don't need a motion or anything for that. Up next, proclamation. I see we have some United Way members here tonight. It's that time of the year again, so I'll just go through the proclamation here. United Way, or do I have to approve it first?
It was initially, but yes, we need a motion.
Do we have a motion to accept? Councillor Leeser, Councillor Dubowski, questions, comments on the proclamation? All in favor? There we go, we're proclaimed again, and I'll just run through it here. United Way Day of Caring is a full day of helping people and giving back to the community, whereas United Way assigns local volunteers to local projects to make a difference where we live. And whereas United Way's Estevan's Day of Caring organized teams of volunteers to make significant positive impact in our community, assisting local individuals and nonprofit agencies to compete in projects in the spirit of caring. Be it therefore resolved, I, Anthony Cernick, Mayor of the City of Estevan and the Province of Saskatchewan, do hereby proclaim May 27th, 2026 as United Way Estevan Day of Caring, and urge all citizens of Estevan to recognize and support the goals and objectives of the United Way. So congratulations. Would you have anything to say at the microphone?
Yeah, thank you to Mayor and Council for having us here. We are really excited as the United Way Estevan to be once again having our Day of Caring. This is a really special event for us where we can give back as a community or as a committee, give back to our community, but also to incorporate our community in the giving spirit. Every year we're so blessed to have a number of local organizations, businesses, and individuals come together to volunteer their time to help members of our community, and we have a lot of people that come and bring their projects forward, so it really is a super special time for us, and we want to thank everyone who brought a project forward to us, and also thank all the businesses that individuals, organizations that are going to be coming to help. We've got organizations that have also donated services and food and things like that for us as well. So we want to thank all of those people who give that to us, and yeah, just remind everyone that this is coming up quickly. It's coming up on Wednesday this week, and you'll see the red signs in front of different properties in Estevan, and if you see that, just a reminder of the great work that is happening in our community.
Awesome, excellent. Thank you very much.
I just want to say also on behalf of the United Way and the Day of Caring Committee, we are very blessed because this community has always been very generous when it's telethon time. And so we just really love to take this opportunity to give back. And we have so many people that participate, and it's just a really good day all around, seeing us able to give back to the people that have been very generous to us. So, and Councillor Verova is one of our Day of Caring co-chairs, so we have a good day. It's a good day all around. So thank you so much for allowing us to come and talk about it.
Excellent, and thank you for everything you do for the community. Obviously, Day of Caring, the telethon keeps getting bigger and better, so can't wait. The 50th this year?
Yeah.
It is, yeah. It's a big year for us, our 50th year. And we also want to remind everyone, too, at lunchtime we have a lunch at the Alliance Church. So if you want to come out and join us and say hi and be part of that, we encourage you to do that. It's a great way to socialize and get to talk to some people as well.
Excellent. Councillor Verova?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So thank you both for coming. Yes, Wendy and I are co-chairs, but I'm actually on the United Way Estevan because of Wendy. Her and I worked together back in home care days, and approximately probably 15, 16 years ago, Wendy got me to join the United Way board. And once you get on that board, you're pretty much a lifer, but they are always looking for more volunteers. So yes, thank you both for coming tonight and also for all the hard work you put into making sure that Wednesday is going to be a great day. But for anyone on council, you're also invited to come and help volunteer. Just show up at the Alliance Church. We'll find a project for you, or you can show up at noon at the Alliance Church and share a burger and listen to the stories. That's the day that we also have different people that are volunteers and the people that are helping show up. And also Councillor Elliott used to be a former member on the United Way Estevan. So yeah, welcome all former, future, and past people that day. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you for that. So yeah, again, thank you for everything. Hopefully everything goes well. And I can't wait to see what the telethon brings this year for sure. So thank you for that. Motions from committee, Estevan Municipal Airport Liaison Committee. Councillor Leeser, you want to run us through this one?
I will. Thank you, Your Worship. At our most recent Municipal Airport Liaison Committee meeting held on May 14th, the discussion was planning for this fall, and the Government of Saskatchewan has a community airport partnership that you can apply for annually, and it creates a cost-sharing opportunity, a 50-50 split between the municipal airport and the provincial government, specifically using those funds to maintain and upgrade equipment, runways, and security at municipal airports. And what the committee found is that since the CAP grant application deadline has changed, it's more difficult for the city to plan ahead and have the budget allocation should we be successful in the CAP grant application later that year. And so to ease some of the administrative burden, to make it more aligned with both the meeting schedule at the airport and the city council schedule, what the committee has requested is that council commit to an annual budget impact of $100,000 for a CAP grant, and by committing to a blanket application of the airport manager applying for $200,000 annually, then we can do the CAP grant application from the airport liaison, and the city already has that $100,000 of the 50% cost share within the budget, so that there's no risk of missing an application. The application has to have a motion from council attached to it, so we're not trying to coordinate the order of meetings to be able to qualify for this grant.
Excellent, thank you for that. Do we have a motion to accept? Councillor Veroba, seconded by Councillor Dubowski. Any questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. All right, up next, inquiries. Anybody has a pressing inquiry? Let's go, Councillor Veroba. We'll just go around.
Okay. We'll start with someone else tonight if you want to, though. I was just going to say, today was our first day attending the Innovation Rural Festival and Forum at the college, and it was very good. Last year was great, the year before was great, but this year has been excellent. 2 inquiries, though. Edward Street. It was basically reported to me that it's not in good shape due to a business that's been driving heavy trucks down that street. So I know there's industrial on the one side and then some homes and businesses on the other, but I did mention it to Haley, but I decided I'd like to make it formal that that street needs to maybe be looked at. And the person who brought the inquiry and said, like, do we look at businesses that are using those kind of trucks? I know in different RMs and stuff, they do a levy per se on businesses that are wrecking the roads really with their heavy vehicles if those heavy trucks, if that road isn't constructed for the heavy trucks. Now again, maybe it is, and that was just that person's concern, so I thought I'd bring it forward. And the other thing is, I had a homeowner on Nicholson Road contact me. I know we'll be doing some work down there this year. If we could maybe, because what they said was they had some ideas for their own yard this summer, and they thought maybe they could get a letter from the city as to the projected timeline, what is actually happening. Because I know it's in our budget, and I know that we know a project's happening, but sometimes when we do these capital projects, the person who's going to be affected doesn't know it till the tender's out, things are happening, and then they get a week or two's notice. And
what was that for again, sorry?
Sir Nicholson.
Oh, okay.
So if, basically, if we're going to do the 1,300 block, say in June or July, they would just like to know. So, because I thought about it, I thought, what if you had a camper that needed to go out and you missed the notice or you didn't realize it. So I just thought if there's a way we could somehow streamline it so they get notice, as much possible notice as possible.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
bringing that up. I got a few inquiries on the same, so you got that one, City Clerk?
Okay, thank you, and that's all I have for tonight.
Councillor Elliott?
Nothing here, Worship.
City Tre- oh, one of these nights. Councillor DeBoski?
Thank you, Worship. Actually, I do have something from the Estevan Public Youth Center, which is the Punk Rock for a Purpose concert at the skate park. It'll be June 6th at 12 p.m., which I believe is a Saturday?
Saturday,
I think so, yep. And it'll be featuring Sad Dads, and as I said, yeah, they'll be playing a punk rock concert in the skate park. So it's $5 for adults and then free for kids, so I believe under 18. So yeah, there's gonna be like bouncy castles, ice cream. It's gonna be possibly a skate competition. So that's been something that's been cooking up and is now official. So that's big and exciting. So, you know, we're hoping to see, I won't be able to make it, but hopefully there's a lot of people that can make it and maybe be a yearly thing.
Perfect. I can't wait. I have it in my calendar. Thank you for that. Councillor Johnson?
Yeah, just a few mentions, or I'm going to speak to some of the departments of the City of Estevan. Parks Department's doing a real good job out there cutting the grass, keeping that in nice form. I notice a lot of the mowers are out there, and a lot of the areas are already probably got their first cut. So it's really looking good in the parks and in the ditches and in around the areas of the City of Estevan. I also had the chance to run into the bylaw control officer and talk to him. Mentioned a lot of properties to him last fall, but of course we couldn't get to him. But it looks like for the most part he's made contact with those property owners, and they've cleaned up a lot of them already. Some of them are almost right at the entrance of the community, which will really catch your eye right away when you're coming into Estevan. So they're tackling those, and he's done a real good job. I've given him a high five, basically, from the City of Estevan City Council, where we appreciate his efforts. So I hope that continues. And I also notice that with from all these rains that we've had, that there's a lot of vegetation growth on properties that are maybe needing to see a lawnmower to have a cut. I don't know whose properties they are, but to tell you, if it goes beyond a certain length, certain means, you'll be having to get a letter from the City of Estevan in order to clean up your property. So please cut it before it gets too out of control. Thank you.
Plus, we got to look good for the golden garbage can, right?
True enough. Yeah, we've got to keep that image up.
Councillor Leeser.
Thank you, Your Worship. It is my yard that Councillor Johnson is referring to. We have not yet brought the lawnmower out, but it's on the to-do list this week.
It's fine.
I did want to send a appreciation over to our park staff. Today was a no school day for students, and I received lots of feedback over the weekend of people saying, why isn't the spray park opening early? Can the city do anything to give us somewhere to take the kids today? And the spray parks opened this morning, and although I was at the innovation conference, I received lots of positive feedback from the community. Really appreciative that even though it wasn't on the agenda, that the city staff took the initiative, opened things early, made a really great day for our community. So thank you.
And it was plus 30 for the first time this year. So thank you for that. City Clerk?
Nothing, Your Worship.
I have nothing tonight either. We got to get over to the conference again here. So I have a motion to adjourn. Councillor Elliott, Councillor DeBoski, all in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today